before we begin, if stories about hidden strength, silent heroes, and moments that change everything make your heart race, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Because tonight's story isn't just about a nurse. It's about a woman who erased herself from the world until the world tried to erase her first. And when a military K-9 disobeyed a direct command from its handler, it wasn't confusion. It wasn't chaos. It was recognition. You are in the right place. This is Secrets of Silent Badges. The woman the K-9 would not stand down from. At the Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, Nurse Elena Marlow had mastered invisibility. For years of quiet shifts, for years of clipped responses, for years of making sure no one looked at her long enough to remember her face. The chief of trauma didn't know her first name. The residents called her, "Hey, nurse." And Elena preferred it that way, because disappearing had once saved her life. The explosion. At 2:13 a.m., the trauma alert shattered the calm. Port Authority explosion. High-ranking officer inbound. Severe concussive trauma. Security flooded the corridor. MPs lined the walls. A police K-9 unit stood ready near the trauma bay entrance. The stretcher burst through the double doors. Rear Admiral Thomas Kincaid, decorated, respected, untouchable, conscious but disoriented, blood in his hair, ash in his uniform collar, eyes scanning like a predator who didn't understand where he was. And then his gaze locked. On Elena, time slowed, his pupils dilated, and something in his expression changed. Recognition, not of a nurse, of a ghost. The lunge. Before anyone processed a shift in his breathing, the Admiral tore free from the medic restraining him. His hand shot toward Elena's throat. It wasn't random. It wasn't confusion. It was intentional. Security hadn't even stepped forward when the K-9 moved. The Belgian Malinois launched midair, intercepting the Admiral's forearm before contact. Its jaws locked down with precision. Its body planted itself between Elena and the officer. Fur raised, teeth bared. The handler shouted, "Recall!" Nothing. Recall. The dog didn't flinch. It wasn't looking at the Admiral anymore. It was looking at Elena. And Elena, who had perfected disappearing, was no longer invisible. Her eyes were steady, cold, calculating. What the dog knew. Dogs trained for military and law enforcement aren't emotional reactors. They're pattern detectors. Heart rate, breathing shifts, micro-expressions, adrenaline spikes. The K-9 wasn't attacking the Admiral. It was preventing something. And it was waiting for a cue from her, the truth she buried. For years earlier, Elena Marlow had testified under a sealed military review board. Different uniform, different name, different life. She had once served in naval intelligence as a behavioral analyst embedded with port security oversight. She had filed a classified report linking Admiral Kincaid to unauthorized weapons transfers disguised as logistical reroutes. The investigation had disappeared. So had she. Identity changed. Career shifted. Quiet life chosen. Until tonight. Because concussive trauma doesn't erase instinct. And predators recognize threats. The moment of decision. Security wrestled the Admiral back onto the gurney. Sedation was administered. But the K-9 didn't move. It remained between them, guarding. The handler, shaken, finally whispered, "Why won't he stand down?" Elena slowly crouched. She didn't touch the dog. She didn't need to. Softly, calmly, she said, "It's okay. He's contained." The Malinois stepped back instantly. Obedience, but not to the handler. To her, the silent badge. Later that morning, a black SUV pulled into the restricted parking lot. Two officials from the United States Navy walked in without signing the visitor log. Elena was waiting. They didn't call her nurse. They called her by the name she hadn't heard in 4 years. Commander Marlow. The explosion at the port? Not accidental. The Admiral? Not the victim. And the woman in oversized scrubs? Never invisible. Just waiting. What the K-9 recognized. Courage under pressure, controlled breathing, absence of fear, predatory awareness meeting trained restraint. Dogs know threat, but they also know leadership. And in that room full of decorated officers and armed security, the calmest authority didn't wear stars. It wore hospital scrubs. If the story gave you chills, like, subscribe and comment where you're listening from. Because in this family, we know something powerful. The quietest person in the room is often the one holding the line.